Well, the Prime Minister has been accused of lying over Labor's plans for negative gearing and capital gains tax after this response in the debate last night.
The Treasurer has done that.
That's not right.
Well, it is.
The public service.
Right.
Well, under our public service, we actually value the public service, and we value them coming up with ideas and doing assessments. That's what's happened.
I can't believe,
I have
David,
been very
honest.
clear. I have been very clear about what our position is and why that is the case.
Was it modelled?
It certainly wasn't commissioned by us to do so.
It was modelled by the government. It was that's publicly available. This Prime Minister has a problem with the truth.
Not commissioned by us, he says. Well, last year, Treasurer Jim Chalmers conceded that he asked Treasury officials to look at options to scale back negative gearing, saying that that was not unusual.
It is not unusual at all for governments or for treasurers to get advice on contentious issues which are in the public domain, including in the Parliament. It is not unusual for treasurers to do that. But we have made it very clear through the course of this week that we have a broad and ambitious housing policy already, and those changes aren't part of it.
Earlier in the campaign, the Prime Minister fell off a stage and then in an interview said he didn't. So it brings into question truth this morning. Does the Prime Minister have a problem with it? Joining us live is the former Queensland Premier Annastacia Palaszczuk. Annastacia, it's good to see you this morning. So look, all politicians lie, everybody knows that, but is the Prime Minister just another one?
No, I don't think so, not at all. I think what we've seen there very clearly is, and having been in public office before, it is absolutely not unusual for Treasury to model things. And at the end of the day, it's the leader's call. It's the Premier or the Prime Minister's call whether or not that modelling sees the light of day. And let me tell you, negative gearing is very popular out there, and there's no way that this Prime Minister is going to make any changes to it. And in relation to the Prime Minister slipping off the stage, let me say this. It shows that he is human. I mean, who hasn't fallen down at some stage or another? In fact, I think it just endeared him more to the Queensland public.
No, look, I don't doubt that. I mean, it was just a terrible accident. But then he said he didn't fall when he clearly did. I mean, that is a lie. But you're saying that he doesn't lie in your experience, the Prime Minister doesn't lie?
I think, you know, what we've seen is during this campaign, he is absolutely trying to answer questions to the best of his capability. And I think we saw that on the debate last night. Both Peter Dutton and the Prime Minister were answering the questions directly put to them during the debate. I think it was an engaging debate. I think both leaders were connecting with the Australian public, and I think, Peter, you would agree with me, this election is too close to call at the moment. Anything can happen. We know that parties can be ahead in the polls, but it's going to come down to those marginal seats on the actual day when people cast their vote across Australia.
So who won that debate last night, do you think?
I think it was very close, very, very close. I think the Prime Minister narrowly won that debate. I think he connected more with women, especially talking about childcare, cost of living, women's health, energy relief. But I must say, I saw a different side of Peter Dutton. He was a lot warmer. He was more confident, and he answered the questions put to him. But can I say, in all honesty, I do prefer the Sky format. The People's Forum is the best forum for a debate because you're hearing directly from the voters and what the voters want to ask their leaders. OK, I would agree with that too. Now, Peter Dutton, he remains committed to nuclear. He says he will use constitutional powers to override the state opposition, and that would include Queensland. David Crisafulli says he doesn't want to change it. Labor has long said it doesn't want to change it. So is it that simple? Can changes be made? Could the state be overridden? Well, I think it's going to be very unpopular for Peter Dutton, if he does become the Prime Minister, to go down this path of nuclear because no state is supporting it. They haven't answered where all the water is coming from, and it is deeply unpopular out there in the community. We don't have a history of nuclear. It's going to take a long time, 30 years to build these reactors, and of course it's the disposal of the waste as well as the operational costs. we already have a huge investment in renewables happening across the country. A lot of that is in the private sector. What we need is a national energy plan where we are told, the Australian public are told, where the transmission lines are going and for the renewables to connect to those transmission lines. That is the focus. And of course, we know that gas is going to be that intermediary, but there is so much renewables on the books. This is Australia's future. I don't think Australia's future is nuclear. And also last night, we did see Peter Dutton starting to question climate science again. We can't have this. That debate is over. Now, Peter Dutton is a Queenslander. I'm a Queenslander. We've had more natural disasters. We've had cyclones and floods and everything. This is a result of climate change. No one needs to argue that point. It is now a question of how we're going to lower those energy prices, and the debate out there in the public is whether it's renewables backed by Anthony Albanese or whether it is nuclear, where we don't have a strong history of it in Australia, backed by Peter Dutton. And these are the questions that the Australian public are going to have to think long and hard about when they go and vote in the election in May.
Just 30 seconds left, Annastacia, but you know, the Greens have got that foothold in Brisbane, in and around Brisbane. Are you expecting them to keep momentum, or do you expect them to fall backwards?
I think we're seeing a decline of the Greens, and I'll tell you why, Peter. They are holding up so many projects. I mean, Labor would have had more housing projects done across the nation if it wasn't for the Greens that have always stood up against it. So, you know, I think it's about time people thought long and hard. The two major parties will deliver housing, not the Greens.
All right, Annastacia Palaszczuk, thanks for your time. We'll chat again soon.